What?
No, it started.
Yes. We're short-handed today because, you know, COVID, everyone's working
Where's
from home.
Cameron?
So we don't have anyone to push the button.
Hey guys, I'm Alyse.
And I'm John.
And we are the Heart of Austin Homes team. We are here with your market stats about Austin, about
May
Greater
2020.
Austin. I know.
With a dash of COVID.
2 months post everything hit.
And some protests.
Well, 3 months. Wow.
It just gets more interesting.
It does. So we got some happy stats right here. As you can see, the difference in the handwriting here to here.
I pay no attention.
This is the John handwriting.
You know, she goes to like write this down and I'm like, I couldn't write a 2 like that. I'm sorry, I'm just too engineering. my hearing's all chicken scratchy.
My inner 8th grader was overjoyed to hear him say that.
I don't know, guys, does your girls have better handwriting than you do? For me, that's the case. That's what it is.
So we have kind of some overarching things about how things are going in the United States. Things.
It's a big blanket thing.
It is.
Housing specifically.
And then we'll talk about Austin. John, would you like to talk about some things that are happening in housing in the United States?
Well, I'm going to start with the coronavirus stuff because it's just obviously still in everyone's mind. You know, caseloads are what they are, but everyone is like, this question comes up all the time. It's like, how is it impacting the market? How is it impacting in Austin? Well, there's a really cool study that was done, and there's an article on USA Today, which I'll put in the link below after this, where they looked at all of the major metros in the United States to figure out which ones were most impacted by the coronavirus, specifically and how that impacted their housing market. And so there were 3 key factors they used when determining how a city was impacted. One was the caseload for the virus itself, so how many people actually got the virus as a percentage of their population.
Another one was the percentage of
Pop quiz.
Jobs that that were at highest risk for getting COVID or being impacted by COVID.
So desk jobs, high desk job count, that was, you know, lowered your score, versus if you had like a high in-person job count, then that increased your risk factor. And
then the third one was generally the affordability of the town. When you compare average or median home price to median income, you know, how much are those people strapped already for their housing?
How on edge are they for their housing as is? And like if they're close to not being able to make their payment as is, this could be something that would push them over.
Yeah, definitely.
So
what did they find,
Well,
John?
it's kind of interesting, and it's also kind of like, oh, well, no surprise there. So, you know, the top 5 markets were the ones that were also some of the ones that you heard about in 2008 that were the most susceptible. So those are ones like Las Vegas was at the top, Miami was up there.
New Orleans.
I have a suspicion because it got the whole post-Mardi Gras thing and had a high infection rate. I have a feeling that one, that's why that one was up there. Oddly enough, Bakersfield, California was up there.
Yeah, and then Los Angeles.
Surprised me. And then Los Angeles, of course.
Yeah.
And LA got like really cheap and then really expensive and really cheap and really expensive. So it's just doing its seesaw thing. Yeah. But the good news for us Austinites is we didn't even make the top 30. So I don't even know where we are on the list, but we're below the top 30. So that's good.
As far as susceptibility to coronavirus impacting our market.
Right. Nothing to do with how likely you are to get coronavirus, just how much it's impacting our housing market in the meta study.
Well, and obviously that's not the only thing impacting the housing market right now. People are nervous about politics. November's coming up. People are nervous about the social situation and whether or not, you know, change is going to happen. And
you've got an election coming up this year.
Good change. And
so people are going to be very on edge at the end of the year.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of things happening.
Kids go back to school in September.
It's second wave.
And you've got the election. It could be a mess.
Yeah, definitely. So
hopefully not.
On that note, and another important thing nationally is that obviously we went from 2 million.
Oh yeah, unemployment levels. Like some good news.
Up to 25 million in unemployment, and now we've dropped back down to
like 22 million.
Yeah.
So, but pre-COVID we were at 2 million.
Yeah.
So we're still like 10x where we should be.
But we're at least making...
It is going down, which is good.
Progress.
So at this rate, if it were a linear model, because I love to use an excuse to say linear model, you would be back to normal in what, 10 months?
Yeah.
Is that right? 2 million a month for 10 months would be 20 million more jobs.
Last month...
Probably won't be that simple.
Last month I read a good number of articles from major financial and real estate think tanks that thought that the third and fourth quarters were actually going to be a decent boom financially for the U.S.
We'll see.
We'll see. If they were, then obviously that would do a lot.
If everything goes back to work and that's all fine, yeah, that'd be great.
For getting jobs back going. Okay, so that is the larger context.
How about like some specific numbers?
Specific
some
for Austin.
We're changing up the format a little bit. No stickies. So if you just want to look at the numbers and run,
basically we don't have help right now. So we're going low tech on this. Not that stickies are exactly high tech now, but they're higher tech than we're going.
I guess.
Okay.
So should we talk about like some random numbers on the board?
Let's talk about some random numbers. Want to look at overall Austin? We'll jump to South Austin.
Yeah, so we compare Austin, which is everything that's incorporated, City of Austin, to South Austin. Now, that's a special slice of South Austin, basically south of 35, south of 71, 290, west of 35, because the 4-1 and 4-4 markets kind of skew these numbers a bit.
Sure, I thought we included the 4-4, 4-7 markets.
Oh gosh, now you're doubting me. I'm going to have to ask Karen where I got the numbers from.
Okay,
generally
so might include South Austin. 4-1 and 4-4,
might not, so.
Most everything
Big
south of
fat asterisks on the numbers this week.
Okay, on that note, all of Austin, number of listings as of May, was it 1,554, 1,554?
The fun number, what was it last year?
Last year, it was 2,279 in the same month. That's a difference of negative 31.
50 less.
Yeah, I mean, negative
which is already still a crazy low number.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean, the fact that you've got 1,500 listings for a city of 1 million people is just nuts.
Well, and if you think about it, in January, February, March pre-COVID really, impacting Austin, we were selling about 1,000 single-family homes a month, and about 1,000 single-family homes a month were coming on. So we just stuck right around one month of inventory. And so what is that doing now? Well, sales, there were 728. This is all just single-family homes within Austin.
In May.
Yeah, in May. 728 homes went under contract.
Nothing, right? In January, I know that was close to 1,000.
Yeah, no, in January, February, this was right around 1,000.
Yeah.
So that's down
it should be
a little
going
bit.
up.
But last year, that was at 1,328, 1,328.
Almost double.
Yeah.
I mean, still, there was no inventory last year either, right?
That's down 45%. And that's what's interesting here is that this is about half. So about, this, you would consider this 2 months of inventory, right? If things are selling at about 728 per month, and there are about 1,554
that means
available.
inventory is going up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, relatively.
Which,
right?
honestly,
it's not like the numbers are going higher, but just fewer people are buying, right?
If you're looking at what's good for the overarching market, the inventory going up in Austin would actually be good.
Well, here's the thing. It's not really
a caveat.
It's not really going up. It's the ratio of listings to sales is increasing to now it's 2 to 1. So listings are actually going down.
Yeah.
But buyers are also going down.
People are just scared to list. They're like the number of listings available is, if you look at the relationship last year, it was 2,279 homes available and 1,328 sold. Yeah. So that's a little over half of them sold per month, right? So the ratio isn't actually hugely different. It's just the fact that less people are putting them on the market and people are a little more scared to buy.
We're going to have a finger fight. Look at South Austin, right? 155 to 168. Right?
I'm legit standing on books, just in case you were wondering if suddenly I sprouted.
Why you got taller?
I want to be as tall as my husband.
Framing.
I got sick of you only seeing like this much of my head.
Your real height. Sorry.
I'm just going to start wearing like 11-inch heels whenever I
They would look good on you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I love them. Okay.
Whoa.
South Austin, 155. I know, you're getting to the price point already.
No, but that's very relevant.
Okay, fine. I will yield because I really want to talk about South Austin and how that ratio is different.
Yes. This price point is at...
Guys with girlfriends and wives, you know how this goes.
Happy wife?
Happy life.
Median price in all of Austin for single-family homes was $440,000.
Okay, so what was that compared to last year?
Last year, in May of last year, it was at $428,500.
So it's still going up.
Yeah, that's up 2.68%. Relative to the month before, like April compared to May, we're actually down 2%.
Okay.
for spring, that's kind of weird.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
But also that's just the kind of temporary pullback when, I mean, there were 2 weeks where we weren't allowed to show anything.
Yeah.
And then everybody's just a little bit nervous about things. Affordability in the town is still actually relatively good.
Yeah, compared to, depends on who you compare it to.
Compared to most big cities, cool towns.
For what Austin has to offer, I would definitely agree with that.
And we're still only at 2 months of inventory. Just to give you some perspective on that, it is a balanced market between sellers and buyers where things, one doesn't necessarily have more power than the other, is considered 3 to 4 months, right? So at this rate, what is that? Well, that would be 4,000. That'd be somewhere between...
Oh, yeah, if we were balanced?
Yeah, sorry.
It would be...
No, 3,000. Yeah. So somewhere between 2,250, 2,250 and 3,000. And we're not anywhere near
Which I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah. No, Austin. So honestly, it's kind of, if you're looking at the overall health of the market, it's kind of good for inventory to be up a little bit so that buyers actually have a little bit more power. I apologize to all my sellers and all of our sellers, but buyers need a little bit more power so they're not just having to give all the things, that a little bit more balance is good. So long as you can count on, a little bit of appreciation over time. John, why don't you tell us about South Austin?
Well, I mean, they've already figured it out by now if you can look at the numbers. The sales are 168 compared to 155 in that specific region of town. So we're still outselling the listings.
Yeah.
Right? So less
Nobody is listing in South Austin. That's pretty much what we're looking at. Because if you look at last year, in May of 2019 instead of May of 2020, this was at 357. Wow. More than double.
Yeah.
So we're at less than half. And that, honestly, but the thing is that inventory was crazy low before all this happened. Like back in December, we were like, we have less than 1 month of inventory.
Yeah. And so it's slower still.
This is a combination of where we were already at. And I mean, there are going to be people who need to move, sell, buy.
Yeah, so
in any
this
market.
won't really get better until people feel like danger has passed. So I mean, we might be this way till next year.
Yeah. And that might balance out the market between buyers and sellers a bit more. That being said,
but it's
what
not
we're
really
seeing,
doing it that much because like inventory is still so low.
When buyers wonder, oh, should I not buy because things are going to drop? It's like, no. Even with all of this, prices are still climbing up. And I mean, even in 2008, 2009, 2010, that big crash, things dipped down for, depending on the zip code, 1 to 3 years, and we're right back up. Yeah. And that was the biggest market crash we've seen.
So the 381 for South Austin, what was that compared to last year?
Did we go over this one?
We said 168 compared to 165 is higher.
Last year that was 271.
271.
The month before it was 158.
Okay, which is weird for it to do.
Well, no, because that was right as we weren't even allowed to show homes. Yeah. So people, and specifically in Travis County, we were facing a potential even a fine for getting out and just showing homes, no matter what. So price-wise, let's see. May 2019, this was at 362.
Okay, so it's still going up.
Yeah, it's up 5.32%, even with all the crazy. And honestly, with how hot of a market Austin is, and how relatively, as the USA Today thing said, robust it is.
And you get most of your appreciation.
That doesn't look like it's going to change.
Yeah, it accelerates, or it's really fast when you're moving from price points around 250 up to 400. And then once you get to 400, it tends to slow down a bit, at least in the Austin market, because that's kind of like the peak of more of what the general affordability is for your average income in Austin.
Well, and if you're waiting until the economy's back to full bore and employment has dropped back down, then this is going to start shooting up again, and then you're going to be clawing to try and get a house again.
Here's the other fly in the ointment of all this, is that new construction permits are way down, right? So we went into this with a housing shortage.
Super housing shortage.
And so we're already out of houses, and then there was a big blip in terms of new construction, new permits stopped. The city of Austin's gotten slower on all of their inspections. I know of several inspectors who have gotten COVID and have gotten sick and are recovering. So that is slowing everything down in terms of creating new inventory. So there's just all sorts of mess going on out there. I mean, a lot of it does still move to limit inventory. Right? So if inventory were no problem, then hey, this can be really cool for buyers, but it's impacted it on that side as well.
Yeah. So I'm being asked multiple times a day what the hey is happening in the Austin housing market, and here you go.
That's it for now.
Yeah, I mean,
it'll be different in a month.
One thing, yeah, it'll be different. That's the thing, is that I feel like usually our change month over month, we're like, oh, look, inventory was down last month. Inventory is down a little bit more this month. You know,
I'm just waiting for like the alien invasion or the meteor or
all bets murder hornets
in 2020. Oh, murder hornets are so like 2 months ago.
They're so 2 months ago, and the poor Australian forests and everything. I know exactly.
What happened? What was that?
Like serious, massive issue.
Down? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not going to get on. It just got lost.
Okay.
Not going to get a 2020 rant.
However. Just know that things are still selling. They're honestly not that big of a difference in inventory since pre-COVID. Yeah. Prices are still going up. The economy in Austin is just pretty robust, honestly.
Well, the portion of the economy that's impacted by COVID is mostly service and retail, which is about 12% of Austin, which is not trivial, but it's also not debilitating.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is by no means to denigrate the fact that, you know, a good portion of our friends lost their job or had to be furloughed or something like that. And my heart definitely goes out to you, and that is going to complicate things if you were planning to buy, and not to mention complicate things on basic necessities, etc.
Some of that's starting to come back to.
Yeah. So we've been trying to help out with that whatever we could. Anyway, on that sad note,
that is it.
Thank you guys.
Assuming we're still here next month.
So much for checking in. If you were thinking about buying or selling, pass us a line. We're happy to help you with any information whatsoever, and have the whole team help out and everything. So thank you guys for watching.
Now I get to run around and click the button on the other side.
Awkward moment.
Oh, she's got it. Thanks, hon.